Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode here on the DEANO Show. It is great to be back with you all for this week's episode on Thursday, August 20th. Great to be back with you all. Quick couple of notes, but next week's episode will be coming out on Wednesday because I'm going to Colorado next week, Thursday to Sunday, to go see Goose at Red Rocks for 2 nights. So next week's episode on Thursday will be coming out on Wednesday because I'm going to be on a plane on Thursday. And be on the lookout for that, like I said in last week's episode, but I'm going to remind you again. But back on Spotify at the DEANO Show, so I'll put that link in the description if you would like to listen on Spotify rather than YouTube. In terms of YouTube, man, we hit 200 subscribers. That's a big milestone for the kid. That's a big milestone. 200, that's pretty damn cool. So thank you all for listening to this as a kid who's 23 years old, trying to navigate his life and figure out his purpose, what his passions are, and talk to you guys, talk to the world, put myself out there. And I have 200 of you who are subscribed to this YouTube channel, and a bunch of you listen to the show, and that's really, really cool for me. Really, really cool for me. And I've gotten texts from a couple of you guys that you like my shows, that it has helped you get better guidance in your life and whatnot, and that's why I do this. That's why I do this. And I hope that by me doing this, it inspires you to make a change in your life, to go off, to start something, to create something you've been scared to start and worried about what people might think about you or any of that stuff. Just do it, man. Just go for it. Like, why not? So thank you all. And the first topic of the day, my mom, shout out to you, Mom. She said, what is and how do you develop the skill of perseverance? So the first thing that comes to mind with perseverance is life has to be lived moving forward, but it only makes sense in reverse. And that's just life in general. And within life in general, you are going to have shit happen to you that you don't want to have happen to you. And that is completely out of your control. And it just happens to you and it sucks. And we all have it, regardless if we want it or not. The second we were born, we were signed up for having bad stuff happen to us out of nowhere. But how you respond to that is how you build perseverance. I think perseverance is something that's developed over time. And the more that you prove to yourself that you can handle the seas when they get rough and that you can navigate your way through a storm, the more you build confidence and the more you just keep on leveling up yourself with life. You know, I wish there was a better way for me to explain perseverance to you guys or give you better examples, but I truly think that life is about how you respond, and that's all perseverance is. One of the biggest lessons I've learned from reading Marcus Aurelius' book Meditations is you can't control the things that happen to you, but you can control how you respond to them. And that's exactly what perseverance is facing shit that you don't know is going to happen to you or when it's going to happen to you, but you respond with a positive attitude, a glass half full attitude, and you keep on moving forward. That is literally the best way to handle situations and unexpected situations or shit that just pisses you off that just happens to you, is to just handle it the best way you can and keep on moving forward and keep on persevering. You can always learn something from the crazy shit that happens to you. It may not make sense in the first couple months that it happens, or the first 6 months that it happens, or in a year from then. But every situation, good or bad, that happens to us, it all happens for a reason. Everything in this life happens for a reason. And there's a lot of things that happen in my life that I can't explain, that I don't even need to know why they happened, or spend so much time as to questioning, why is this happening to me? It does you no good to dwell on the why. Why is this happening to me? Like, you don't know why. So why would you try to figure out why? I'm saying a lot of whys, but it's true. If something is happening to you that is completely out of your control, then why try to figure out why it's happening? Just keep on moving forward. Continue on with your life, and it'll make sense to you someday. When that day it makes sense, I don't know when it will be, but someday it'll make sense to you. And you'll get that, oh, okay, I can see why I got rejected from this job, because then I was able to meet this person and they were able to give me that job. Like, everything just intertwines with one another. Everything just takes time. Everything just takes time. And with time comes perseverance and the refusal to never stop and to never give up. So that's perseverance in my eyes. Keeping on going and never stopping and just having faith continuing. One day, one foot in front of the other. So the next question I got, coming from one of my fellow bartenders over at the grill, Angie with work-life balance. I remember talking to you about this. I think it was on Friday night maybe, or last Saturday night. I can't exactly remember. We were talking about self-help and, I don't know if we talked about this specifically, but with self-help in general, as someone who has listened to a bunch of self-help books, they're all back there, listened to a bunch of self-help podcasts. All those books are great, but they don't teach you action. They say you have to take action, but it just comes down to you and taking action. And so with work-life balance, look, when you're in your young 20s, I think one of the last things you really need to be worrying about is your work-life balance. But there's a caveat to that. If you are someone who is living a pretty unhealthy lifestyle or not getting enough physical exercise or eating unhealthy foods, then maybe we need to look into our life. What are the bad habits we are doing? How could we stop those? How do we start getting back into the gym? How do we start eating healthier foods? How do we start prioritizing more relationships, prioritizing our job more, and doing all those things? But if you're someone who, gets exercise multiple times a week, eats good food, is social with friends, and is living a healthy lifestyle, and your life is fine, maybe you haven't tapped into fully all of your potential, depending on what age you are. But if you're happy and you feel like you're, doing enough is kind of a funky word, because at the end of the day, you're the only person in your life who knows whether or not you're pushing yourself to the most capacity you are. Like, no one can tell you if you gave it your all. That's kind of the scary thing, is you're the only one who knows whether or not you're giving it your all. So I think you got to approach every day with your best intention and best attitude, and give that to your life and work. I look at it as Monday through Friday, prioritize, health, fitness, food, exercise, and then Saturday, go out, have fun. Friday, go out, have fun. It just totally depends on your lifestyle. If you're someone who's really serious and has serious ambition and serious goals for your life and want to achieve crazy things, then you're probably going to have to make some trade-offs. Maybe you're not going out twice a week. Maybe you're not going out at all. Maybe your Friday and Saturday nights, are you working on your business, or are you editing videos, or doing whatever it is? But if you're someone who's happy with your current situation and you like your job Monday through Friday and you want to go have fun on the weekends, then by all means, go have fun on the weekends. Life is not that serious, man. Life really is not that serious. We have this fun way of thinking that life is way more serious than it actually is. And every now and then I remind myself, it's like, this is all going to come to an end someday, Griffin. Like, it is what it is. This is all going to end someday. As real and as lost I may find myself at sometimes, and it's like my work-life balance is off. I'm not getting the best lemon water and electrolytes in the morning, and I'm not getting 10,000 steps and all this stuff. It's like, chill out. If you didn't exercise today because you were too busy and doing other things, you're going to be all right. All right? You're going to be okay. Recently and over social media over the last couple of years, but it has become so much how do I optimize my life more? How many more health things can I do to stay healthy? And it's like, you see grass-fed foods, exercise, and, maintain a healthy lifestyle, and you're going to be okay. But then there's some people who, thrive off the David Goggins type videos, and it's like, you're not doing enough, do more. Fuck your happiness, fuck your tiredness, and just keep on moving. And some people do need that, and some people don't. So you really just have to figure out what works for you in terms of work-life balance. What works for me is waking up in the morning, immediately getting exercise, coming home, being productive, going to work at Colony, or whatever it is. And that's, when I was in college, I was the best at waking up at 5:45, going to the gym, coming home, making breakfast, doing work, that's when I was the most productive, when I was getting my workout done. And that's what worked for me, when I would have it done in the morning, because it would butterfly effect to just wanting to do harder things later on in the day. And that's what worked for me. If you're not a morning person, then my routine is not going to work for you. But you just have to literally find out what works best for you. And life's about trade-offs. And I remember us talking about it, is you get those people that are you have to cut out all your friends who aren't treating their health so seriously and who aren't lifting 5 times a week and are going out. You have to cut them out because drinking is bad. And it's like, hold on. I'm all for optimizing your life, becoming a healthier version, achieving your dreams and doing all that stuff. But I'm not just going to cut off everyone and, because they're not as mature as me or they don't have dreams like I do, I'm just going to cut them off. No, I mean, in fact, you could tell them as like, hey man, like you may not be seeing me as much anymore because I really care about this goal I have and I really want to achieve that goal. And honestly, that person might give you shit, but it will wake something up in them and make them question their life and be like, like Griffin's doing this. Well, I just go to a bar Friday, Saturday night, wake up, feel like shit on Sunday. What are my goals in my life? Like, you just got to give people some time or, like don't just cut people off because they aren't as the same ambition as you. Like that's kind of shallow in my opinion. And people love talking about like cutting off toxic people. I mean, if your friends really are holding you back, I mean, yeah, of course. Like if they're doing drugs all the time and they're a bad influence on you, yes, there are levels to what a toxic person is. And you're the best judge to who you should surround yourself with. And that's not anything I can control. You have to be your own best advocate for who you surround yourself with. And I trust that anyone listening to this knows like, yeah, this person, brings the best out of me and this person makes me just want to party all the time and kind of brings the worst out of me. So life is kind of all about trade-offs and what you're willing to sacrifice in order to get something. But in summation, man, like don't stress so much about your work-life balance when you are 23, you're in your young 20s, you got out of college, you're at your first job. Like you got a whole life ahead of you to focus on health, and that's my best answer to the work-life balance. It's whatever works best for you is what's going to work best for you, and you just have to be the one who finds that for yourself. So, yeah. But the next question I got coming from Jay Mastro, doing a Bible verse interpretation here. Romans 12:12. I've not read Romans 12:12 before, but we're going to do Romans 12:12 NIV. Great question, Just. And Romans 12:12 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." All right, well, let's break this up into a couple of sections here. So the first section we got, do not conform to the pattern of this world. We'll start with do not conform to the pattern of this world. I think it's saying don't automatically assume there's a right way to live life. Like, don't compare the way you're living your life to everyone else. There's no right way to really go about experiencing life and living your life. And I think a big problem, or one of the reasons why a lot of people, especially when they're young, are like, I don't know my purpose. I don't know what success is. I don't even know what I want to be or any of that stuff. I think social media has a big part in that, because there's constantly people who are just telling you how you should live your life and what success looks like to them, and you need to have this by this age, and you need to be making $10K a month when you're 21, and you need to have a Lamborghini by you're 22, and you have to buy my drop shipping course on AI and how I became a millionaire in 30 days and get rich quick method. Like, all that stuff is so toxic and just not it. Like, that, if there's one groups of people that are just grifters and gringos, it's the fucking buy my course people. Because I think they're just selling you on a false narrative. Like, the whole get rich quick method, like, that's just not a thing. If you want to build sustainable wealth and build a lot of money, it's not gonna take you a month. It's gonna take you a long time. At least if you want to do it in a respectable way, in a way that will last a lifetime. Then just ignore all these other people who are telling you what success is and that you need to do this by this age and have this by that age. Like, no, that's just not that. And because so many people exist on social media and take advice from so many different people, it brings me to the next part of this Bible verse, which says, "But be transformed by the renewing of your mind," when you're constantly listening to how other people live their life and what success looks like to them and what their success is, you're stripping yourself of, one, your unique identity. You're also stripping yourself of what you actually want to do and hearing your inner voice, hearing your intuition, because all you think about subconsciously are the things that you hear on social media and all the things that are people telling you that you need to have or that you need to be successful. And when in reality, you just kind of have to ask yourself is, what is my definition of success? Like in 10 years from now, who do I want to be? What do I want to have? Ask those questions. And then, in the other part of this quote, it says, then you will be able to test and approve of what God's will is. Because when you're constantly consuming yourself, and this kind of goes back to, I think, my episode last week or 2 weeks ago when I talked about being bored and letting your mind just think. When you eliminate all the outside factors of just noise and you just listen to yourself and let yourself be bored and give your brain a chance to just quiet down and hear yourself, things just start coming up. And this isn't something that's going to happen in like 2 days, 3 days from now. This is like months of work and, discipline and trying new things. Like you can't just sit around and just be like, okay, like God, I'm going to, give it a month, and then all of a sudden a month from now I'm going to know exactly what I want to do and how I'm going to do it. Like, no, you actually have to be the one who puts in the work, puts in the effort, gets out of your comfort zone, tries to meet new people, starts new things, and then things will start to make sense to you. At least for me, is like, I try to tap into like my soul and my desires and what I want in this world. And a lot of I get those thoughts and I feel most connected to myself. One, when looking out at the ocean, looking at the stars, about to fall asleep, looking outside of a train window. Like those are my biggest moments of inspiration because I'm not thinking. My brain is just floating. That's when I hear the connection to my soul and my inner voice, is when it's just stillness and quietness. And that's why I picked up meditation. 5-10 minutes per day. Sitting outside, no distractions, calmness. And that's where, you find your unique self. And that's where you find God's voice, your intuition, your soul. It's a practice. It's not something that's just going to happen overnight where you're just going to find what you really want out of life. And it's just about, I think it's just about changing yourself from the inside and out, knowing you have something inside you and letting it expand to the world. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to what success means to you. Do what makes you feel alive and connected to yourself. And you'll find happiness on that side. Because I ask myself, what's true? What's true? What we exist in a world nowadays where there's no truth. Everything is all just blabber. People are just talking and talking and talking, and there's no actual truth behind it. I mean, there is, but there isn't. You have to find your own truth, essentially. And what actual truth is what lies in your soul. Because you can't change what lies in your soul and what you have and what you want to do with your life. That's God. Truth is something that can't be changed. You can't change what your soul is attracted to and what you want to seek out of life. There's a reason why everyone is different. Everyone wants different things. Is because their souls are all completely different from one another. And if you can find what that thing is in your soul and chase it and connect with that version of you down there and follow the truth, then I think it's going to bring you wealth, happiness, prosperity. I think it's going to bring you all the things you want out of life. But you have to be the one to find that in yourself and listen to it. Ultimately, have the courage, have the faith to follow it. Even when the path isn't clear. Take risks. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's a good Bible verse for sure. It's hard to understand, but I hope that kind of explained it. I tried to explain it in the best way I could and off the dome. But yeah, I think God has a plan for every single one of you listening to the show, and you just have to be the one to find it. And that can take 10 years, 20 years, a lifetime, but there's no rush. You just got to live every day like it's your last and go from there. So, yeah, this is good questions from you guys today. I hope I answered those, and I hope you learned something, or at least got something out of me answering those questions for you. Moral of the story here, you're going to have to persevere in life. Things are going to happen to you. It's about how you respond to them. Work-life balance, find out what works best for you. And whatever works best for you might not work for someone else, but if it works for you, that's all that matters. And the Bible verse, stop listening to the outside world and what everyone has to say and how you should live. Live according to your values and what you value most, because that's where you'll find true happiness. And align yourself with your soul. And at least I believe that the best lives lived are the ones where they lived in connection to their soul and followed their soul, because that's you. That's the truth to who you are and who you were created to be. And if you do that, you'll be a happy person. So, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the DEANO Show. Thank you all so much for watching. And 300 subscribers is my new goal. So if you are not subscribed here yet, click the link, drop a like on the video, drop a comment on the video. Anything you'd like me to talk about, I'm always open to more conversations. Or if you'd like to come on to the show, let me know, and I'd be happy to have some guests on. So thank you all for listening. Podcast is also available on Spotify at The DEANO Show, and I will see you guys next Wednesday for the next week's episode of The DEANO Show. Peace out.